In spite of not having electricity, their homes stay up to 30 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than the outside air, even when it's 110 degrees outside. Doesn't make sense, does it? It's true, though. Why is this important? Because these old tips could help you save money on your energy bill and stay cool in the summer without using air conditioning. Hey everyone! I've been doing a lot of research over the last week by going to Amish communities, talking to historians, and reading old farm journals. The thing I found is pure genius. A list of tried and true ways to cool off that really do work. Even though some of them are hundreds of years old, they still work better than most new tech to beat the heat. I'm going to show you 10 powerful Amish ways to cool off in this movie. From roofs that reflect light to walls covered in vines, from cold rooms underground to simple shade tricks, these aren't just strange traditions. This is real science that you can't miss. The best part? Many of these ideas can be used right now in your own home. But first, I'd like to hear from you. Remember, when your grandparents or maybe your neighbours did something strange in the summer that kept their houses cool? Enter it in the box below. Maybe you remember another lost trick that we can all use. Okay, let's start with number 1. Where to put the house and how to use natural shade. Most people don't even think about where their house is located on the land. The Amish, on the other hand, choose the exact spot where their homes are built. They don't just do it for no reason. They study the sun's path all year, keeping an eye on how it moves across the sky, and then pick the spot that will stay cooler naturally. It's like sitting on the beach under a big umbrella instead of getting too hot in the sun. This time, though, you're not just covering a chair, you're covering your whole house. Most Amish houses are built so that they face east or southeast. Why? Because that way they can enjoy the soft morning sun without having to deal with the baking afternoon heat. Then they use trees as their secret tool. A lot of trees. But they don't just spread them out at random. They plant them in a way that's kind of like playing chess. Along the west and south sides of the house, tall leafy trees are put so that the afternoon sun shines straight on them. They cool the house without using any power at all because the trees cover it like an umbrella. You can get even smarter by learning how to grow plants on trellises next to windows. When summer comes, the plants grow new leaves that block the sun from getting into the house. When the plants die back in the winter, the sun can come in and naturally warm things up. That's design for all year, simple but clever. Also, don't forget about microclimates, which are a secret benefit. Not only do plants and trees block sunshine, they also give off water, which makes the air around the house cooler. It's like making your own native air conditioner that runs on soil and leaves. Of course, you might say, but I can't really move my house. That's right, but you can still use this information in small ways. Watch out for the rooms that are the hottest. Most likely, they're the ones looking west and in the sun all afternoon. What should you do? Put down some trees, put up some plants that can climb. Outside, put up awnings, sunshades, or even a simple canopy. Inside, even a short-term shade cover over a patio can make a big difference. For many years, the Amish have shown that the right shade in the right place can make a big difference in how hot it is inside. The best part? Beautiful, free, and can be used over and over. Many people forget that heat doesn't just come from above, it also bounces up from below. The Amish are aware of this, which is why you almost never see huge slabs of asphalt or concrete around their houses. All day, those hard surfaces soak up the sun and then send the heat back up to the walls, making your house feel like an oven. Instead, grass, dirt, or gravel are often used to surround Amish houses. This kind of surface doesn't reflect heat as well, so it stays cooler. Putting natural ground cover around their homes lowers the bounce-back effect and keeps the inside cooler. It's simple but effective. If your home is stuffy, go outside and cool off. A blacktop driveway, patio made of concrete, or paved garden could be a part of the problem. It can make a big difference to change it or even just break it up with plants, gravel of a lighter colour, or raised flower beds. It's not hard to understand this science. It just means working with nature instead of against it. The benefit is that if you put your smart home where there is natural shade and cooler ground, the temperature inside can drop by 10, 20, or even 30 degrees without you having to flip a single switch. That's free cool air. Next, let's talk about number 2, cross-ventilation and making your own wind catchers. Even if your house is in the shade, it will still feel like you're living in a soup pot if the air inside is hot and doesn't move. The Amish are the only ones who really know this, which is why they build their homes so that air can flow through them. Cross airflow is what it's called, and it's not what you think it is. You need to open the right windows at the right times to let a river of air flow through your home. It's like breathing. Your house needs to take in cool air and let out hot air. The heat just stays where it is without that flow. When the doors and windows are opened, the Amish make sure that there is a clear way for air to move from one side of the house to the other. It's cool on purpose, not by chance. What happens, though, when there isn't enough breeze? A smart tool called a wind catcher comes in handy at that point. No, it's not a pirate sail. It's just a simple roof structure that looks like a small chimney with flaps or gaps. The catcher pulls cool air into the house when the wind blows, while vents or windows on the other side let hot air escape. It works just like a real air conditioner, with no noise, wires or electricity bill. Even better, you don't have to build a fancy wind tower to make it work. You can get the same effect with just a few box fans placed in the right places. One fan should go in a room that is shaded to bring in cool air, and the other should go on the other side to push out hot air. Boom! Airflow right away. Open windows lower on the house to let cooler air in, and open windows higher up, or attic vents, to let hot air flow out. In this way, you can keep the blood going without doing anything. Don't forget the ceiling fans either. Even though they don't really cool you down, the way they work is by pushing air across your face, making you feel cooler. When you add cross air and fans, even a 90-degree day inside feels bearable. The best part? It only takes a few minutes of your time every day to do this whole process of making air move. There's no power or electronics, just smart timing. It might surprise you how much cooler your house feels if you crack the right windows before you turn on the AC. Tricks that are easy to do can sometimes work the fastest. Next, let's talk about number 3, thermal mass cooling. This one actually takes us underground. These Amish builders don't just build homes, they build homes that are good for the earth. A very powerful trick they use is something called thermal mass cooling. Using heavy, thick things like stone, brick, or packed earth to soak up heat during the day and slowly let it out at night may sound complicated, but it's really just that simple. Think about it like a mug. It's still warm hours after you pour in hot coffee. Now turn that thought around. If you use the right materials, your walls will soak up cool air at night and keep it inside during the day. You don't have to worry about your house going from oven-level hot to freezing cold when the AC goes off. It stays steady, calm, and surprisingly comfy. A lot of Amish houses have thick walls made of stone, wood, or earth. These materials naturally keep rooms at the right temperature. The day-night cycle lets the house breathe, which means it can be lived in without power. But this is where it really gets cooler. These are also used by the Amish. You may have heard of them, but do you know how a real one feels? Think of a small, damp, dark room that is built right into the ground. Some are next to the house and some are under it. It feels like going right into a natural refrigerator when you walk inside on a hot July afternoon. Before there were freezers, Amish families stored milk, butter, and vegetables down there for hundreds of years. Root cellars aren't just places to store food, though. They're also natural cooling zones. A few feet below the ground, the temperature stays the same all year, at 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why it feels like paradise even when it's 100 degrees outside. Okay, I get it. Most of us don't have a root cellar. You can still use the idea though. Have a basement? When it's really hot, spend more time down there. Let the cool air rise by leaving the downstairs door open. Adding thermal mass to your home, like stone or brick walls, tile or stone floors, or even something as easy as a thick concrete countertop can help you save energy. Also, here's a quick tip. Even small amounts of heat mass can help. A clay pot on the kitchen counter, a brick behind your plants, or stone tiles along a sunny wall can all soak up extra heat and let it out later, which keeps the temperature in your home more even. It's not magic, it has science wrapped up in history. You'll understand why Amish homes feel so stable and cozy, even without power, once you know how it works. Next, let's talk about number 4, evaporative cooling. This is another smart trick that works with nature instead of against it. Not having light. That's what makes this next trick so cool. Let's talk about water, which is something we all know but don't use very often. That's right. Plain old H2O could be one of the best ways to cool down, and the Amish have relied on it for many years. No fans, gadgets, or wires. It's known as evaporative cooling. It works because water takes heat out of the air when it disappears. So that's why you get cold when you get out of the pool and why a cool breeze feels so good when you're wet. You can use the same idea that the Amish do to keep your house cool. One of the easiest tricks they use: put wet sheets over the windows. A sheet or towel soaked in cool water is all you need. Stretch it out a bit and then put it over a screen or window that is open. The water evaporates as hot air moves through the wet cloth. This cools the air before it even gets to your room. It won't freeze your house, but on a dry, hot day, it can bring the temperature inside down by 5 to 10 degrees. When you combine it with cross-ventilation, the effect is stronger. The clay pot cooler, which is also sometimes called a desert fridge, is another great idea. Here's how it works. Get 2 clay pots, one a little smaller than the other. Cover it all with a damp cloth and put the small one inside the bigger one. Fill the space between them with wet sand. The water slowly drains, cooling the air around the inner pot. This keeps the food, drinks, and vegetables cooler. It doesn't have any ice or power, just science and patience. One Amish family goes even further. They will put water basins near doors or windows that are open. The air moves through the room and picks up wetness. It also loses some heat, which naturally cools the house. Want to make it better? Put a fan in front of a bowl of water and let the air move the water around. Right away, relief. And finally, hang wet towels on a clothesline inside a hallway or opening where air can flow. This is a strange but useful tip. If it's really hot at night, try sleeping with a wet sock or cloth around your wrist. It works amazingly well. It keeps your body at the right temperature and helps you fall asleep faster without tossing and turning. These aren't old wives' stories. They're based on real physics. Sure, evaporative cooling works best in dry places, but it can still cool you down on a hot day even if the humidity isn't too low. Before you grab the remote for the air conditioner, keep this in mind. The coolest options are often the simplest ones that are soaked in water. Number 5. Time is the most important thing. Let's talk about time, which is something we all have but don't usually plan for. They don't try to fight the heat. Instead, they change how they live to fit it. And that's a big part of why their homes stay so cozy. They do it by getting up early, very early. It's coolest in the morning, so most Amish families are outside by 5 or 6 a.m., taking care of the yard, making breakfast, or doing chores. They change gears when the sun starts to shine. There won't be any laundry hanging in the sun at noon, cooking marathons in a hot kitchen, or running around at noon. They slow down instead. While the house stays closed off from the hottest sun, they rest, read, nap, or meet under the trees. This is not being lazy, It's a plan. It's not worth the trouble to try to cool down your house after it's already hot if you can avoid the spike in the first place. When you open the blinds in the morning, soft light and cooler air come in. By noon, the blinds or curtains are down to block the rays that feel like an oven. The windows are opened in the morning and shut again before the afternoon bake starts. Meals are even planned ahead of time. During the day, stoves and ovens are used for heavy cooking. In the evening, the kitchen takes a break. Plus, they sleep at the same time every night, just like the sun, going to bed and getting up early. This keeps the body healthy and helps them avoid the hottest parts of the summer. This makes summer feel less like a punishment and more like a time of flow. It doesn't cost anything, not a tool, no power. Just be aware of the time. You'll wonder why you didn't try it sooner once you start living with the day's flow instead of against it. Number 6. Use roofing that is light in colour or reflective. The roof over our heads is something most of us never think about. You likely chose your house based on how it looked from the street, not how well it kept the heat out from above. But what about the Amish? They know that the roof will make a difference. The trouble is that dark roofs keep heat in. Dark metal or black shingles soak up the sun all day, hanging onto it like a sponge. This is why, even when your AC is running at full blast, your attic can feel like a blast oven. The Amish escape this trap by using things that are light in colour. Paint that is white, light wood, or metal roofs that reflect light instead of letting it in are all good choices. In the same way, wearing a white shirt instead of a black one on a hot day makes you feel cooler because the black shirt soaks up the heat. In some Amish villages, the roofs are made of galvanized metal that sparkles in the sun. These reflect so much heat back that the temperature inside stays noticeably cooler, and they don't use a single watt of power. Okay, I get it. You probably won't re-roof your house tomorrow, but you can use this trick in lighter ways. Do you want to build a porch, shed, or carport? Pick materials that are light in colour. You will be able to tell the difference. Or, if your roof is already dark, you could look into treatments that make it shine. These are paints or sprays that can be used to turn normal roofing into something that keeps heat out. In hot places like Texas and Arizona, where they were tried, homes with coated roofs saw the temperature inside drop by several degrees, and sometimes even more. Your AC will work less hard, your bills will go down, and the equipment will last longer. One more thing, walls are important too. Dark siding keeps heat in while light siding keeps it out. Just painting or lighting up one wall that faces the sun can help keep the heat out. It all adds up. The roof and walls of your house are more than just how it looks. They protect it. And the Amish know how to make their weapons work for them instead of against them. The Amish teach us that leaving a house can be the best way to cool it down sometimes. The porch is their summer living room, so they don't have to deal with the heat inside. And it works really well. If your house gets too hot, you don't have to turn on the air conditioner. Instead, you can move your life outside. Everything feels lighter because of the shade, the breeze, and the open space. This is why summer parties and evening talks outside feel so good. Not just in old neighbourhoods, you can use this trick. A simple tarp, trellis, or shade sail can turn a patio area into a cool place to relax. With a few plants for natural growth, you've made your own porch that is cool. It's not just about comfort either. It's about how you live. A lot less electricity is used when you build places where breezes naturally fill the air. The Amish don't need air conditioning because they base their lives and houses on the natural cycles of the world. What about that porch? That's proof that simple answers are often the best ones. Don't run away the next time your house is getting too hot from the inside out. Find a place in the shade outside and let the wind do its thing. 7. Tree power, natural shade that lasts for ages. All of a sudden, summer doesn't seem so harsh. It works because heat rises by itself, and moving air cools you down much faster than still air ever could. Plus, if you spend the nights outside instead of turning on the air conditioning, the cooler air in your home stays there longer at night. Both your body and your power bill will thank you. Plus, you might fall in love with those quiet summer evenings all over again. That's how the Amish live. They watch the sun go down, listen to birds, or just sit quietly without tools running all the time. They don't stay away from summer. They accept it and live with it without any problems. Number 8. Use natural nighttime tricks to cool down your bed. One more tip from the Amish that makes hot nights bearable. Make your bed cooler before you go to sleep. Because Amish families don't have fans that blow all night, they use easy and smart solutions. One trick is to use sheets that are wet. In the evening, they'll add a little cool water to a sheet to make it damp and hang it in front of an open window. The cloth gets cooler as the night air moves through it, and when you spread it out on your bed, it feels naturally cool. The stone or water jug method is another trick. They will put a clay jug full of cold water, or even a smooth stone that has been cooled in spring water next to or under the bed. Both clay and stone keep cool for hours and then slowly let it go during the night. You can think of it as a cold pack from the past, but without the power. The best thing about them is that they sleep low. In the Amish home, summer beds or even simple cots are often put closer to the floor so that the air stays cooler. When you sleep on light linen or cotton sheets, you won't be hot when you wake up. Today, you don't need a clay jug or a spring house to try this. You can get the same cool feeling by freezing a water bottle, wrapping it in a towel, and putting it next to your feet. The Amish like things that are simple, natural, and work well. 9. Cool your home with clay or sand-based pads. Now let's talk about something old and smart: clay. Not just for making pots, but also to cool down. The Amish have used clay pots, sand floors, and even water basins for many years to keep their houses and food cool. The crazy part is that it works. Clay can breathe. In other words, it can take in water and slowly give it off as gas. What happens when water goes away? That's it. That's why a clay pot with water in it or a damp cloth over it can feel like a small space-age air conditioner. Hot places around the world have used clay pots to cool water for hundreds of years without power. The Amish just use the same science in their houses. Some Amish households even have floors made of sand. Being barefoot on a beach first thing in the morning might sound weird at first. The top layer is warm, but the sand below is cool and feels good. The same idea keeps the room at a more stable and comfortable temperature inside. It's not just about comfort either. It's also about keeping things safe. Many years before they had fridges, Amish families kept milk, veggies, and fruits in clay jars or boxes lined with sand. A little wet sand made a natural cooling system that kept food fresh for several more days. It was safe to pack even eggs in sand to keep them from going bad. You can still use this trick today, even though most of us aren't going to sand our floors. Place some clay pots around your house, put them near a window, soak them in water, and let the breeze do the rest. Or put a bowl of water near a flow of air and hang damp towels nearby to make a simple evaporative cooler. This causes the air to pick up moisture and cool down as it moves through. It's easy. It makes sense. It will surprise you how much cooler your house feels when you add cross air or thermal curtains to it. It's not magic. The Amish never forgot this is just smart science. 10th, use plant vines or green walls to cool the air naturally. The best cooling gear isn't always made of steel or wires. Sometimes it's living things. The Amish have known this for a very long time: plants. During the summer, grapes, morning glories, and cucumbers can be seen climbing trellises and wrapping around decks. It looks like simple gardening at first glance, but it's really one of the best and most natural ways to cool down a house. This is why it works. Vines are nature's way of cooling things down. They keep your walls from getting hit by direct sunlight. release water into the air through a process called evaporation and give you shade right where you need it. That three-step process makes the walls, the air, and the whole house cooler. This can make it several degrees cooler inside on the south and west sides of a house, where the sun shines the brightest. You don't even need a farm to do it. A single trellis by a window that gets a lot of sun can grow into a living screen. It lets in soft light in the spring. By the middle of summer, it's thick enough to keep the heat out. Ivy can grow on the inside and outside walls of some Amish homes. These plants not only look nice indoors, but they also clean the air, soak up moisture, and keep rooms feeling fresh. Think of it as natural air conditioning that also cleans the air. The best part? This works whether you live in the country or an apartment in the city. There is a vertical garden you can make on a deck with plants that climb quickly, like peas and beans. In a few weeks, even a wire frame next to a hot wall can turn into a green shield that keeps the heat out. But there are more perks than just temperature. Green walls also lower noise, make the air better, and may even make you feel better. Research has shown that being near plants makes people feel less stressed and more relaxed. You stay cooler too, not just your house. Work with nature instead of tools to beat the heat. Add some plants and let the vines climb, and you'll see your room turn into a cooler, more pleasant place to be. The Amish do things that way because they are easy, smart, and last. So there you have it. 10 Amish-style tips for keeping cool when the temperature hits 120 degrees. There are no machines or sky-high bills, just old tricks that show that the simplest answers are sometimes the best. That's it. These are 10 real Amish-style tips that can cool your home down by up to 40 degrees, even if it's really hot outside. From cross-ventilation and smart house placement to using clay pots to cool down, planting plants, and planning your day just right. These aren't just old customs. There is science behind these tried and true ways to beat the heat without spending a lot of money on air conditioning. The best part is that you don't have to give up modern conveniences or live off the grid to use them. A simple evaporative cooler, thermal curtains, or a tree for shade are just a few of the small changes that can make a big difference in your comfort and your power bill. People who like to cook in the summer but don't like how hot the kitchen gets will enjoy these tips. So will people who want to save money on utilities and people who just like simple, old-fashioned life hacks. Because people who have been doing something for generations without changing a thing can sometimes come up with the coolest ideas. Now I want to know if you've tried any of these tips before. What kept your house cool in the summer? Was it a clay pot cooler, a wall covered in vines, or a family secret? Write your stories in the space below and I'll read all of them. Click the like button if this video gave you thoughts. It helps the channel grow. And don't forget to join if you want more smart living tips that are cheap, off the grid, and old-fashioned. Click the bell to make sure you never miss a movie. Thanks for watching. Remember that turning on the AC doesn't always mean beating the heat. A little shade, a cool breeze, and a bit of tradition can sometimes do the trick.